welcome to TacomaTraveler. I'm Jen. This is my channel. And on this video, I'm just going to talk about some small upgrades and tweaks that I've either completed or want to work on the back of my rig, on my truck camping setup. So I'm gonna first just do a quick show of my camping setup, and then I'm gonna talk about some of the upgrades and tweaks I've been working on. So if you're familiar at all with my channel, you know my basic setup. I have my bed over here. On this side, I have a whole video about my bed setup, and then I have my storage unit over here on this side, including where I keep my stove, water, clothing in the middle there, food, all that kind of stuff. So that is it. Nothing major is changing, but I want to talk to you and show you just a couple things. So you may have seen in one of my recent videos this new little fun thing I did, and this is more just whimsical than anything else, but it is kind of useful. Just a light switch. That's just kind of cool, right? It's battery operated. Oh my goodness, I just realized that it was a little close to my stove, and apparently that whole area got melted. That must have happened on my last trip. But it still works, my goodness. It was a couple of bucks. I mounted it right there. It's just kind of cute little neat thing. So I had for this area right here, this center section, I used to just have a little carpet remnant. I went ahead and bought this carpet, which is just it's a fairly cheap. I think I got it for like 20 bucks. And then I cut it down, but it actually runs all the way under now, the whole way across. I had to duct tape the edge where I had cut it so it didn't fray out. But it's obviously black instead of the light color it was before, and it's a little I don't know, I think it's a little nicer. I like it. I like the look of it. So another recent thing I did was to get the struts replaced. These things, these piston gas air struts, I don't know what they're called. On the other ones, I never showed them, but they were like, when I pulled the cap up, I'll do it like this. When I pulled it up, it would kind of sag down like that, and then I'd have to push it up and hope it stayed, and sometimes it would, and sometimes it would fall back down. So I got these new ones, which open with authority, like boom, all the way up. I'm no longer, banging my head on this. So that's a nice little upgrade. That was only like 50 bucks. Okay, on to some things that I want to replace or work on. One is this is a yoga mat that I have on here. It's been on there for like better part of, well, it's definitely a year and a half, if not a little more. And it's starting to pull up. It's starting to pull away from how I had it fixed. It's just kind of looking a little shabby there along the edge. And I've got a new one that is a little thicker and a little cushier. So I want to pull that off and clean the tailgate and put the new one on. Alright, so I just have a bare fiberglass topper here. No lining. Which is kind of a pain. It pulls, because I sit and my head kind of is at the top of this. If I'm wearing a hat, it yanks at my hat and pulls all the fibers away and makes my hats look shabby. And also just for perhaps a little bit of insulation and to help with condensation potentially, I have bought these very thin cork. They're actually used for, supposed to be for, to create like a bulletin board. So I have a whole bunch of these. I got them for like 10 bucks. And they came with these pull apart things that are self-adhesive. They're sticky on both sides. That are supposed to be, according to the advertisement, very, very strong. I haven't had much luck with having stuff stick to fiberglass, so I don't know. I don't think those will probably work. I will try them.
and then likely move on to something else when these fall down. But we'll see how that goes. So my goal is to just like put 2 rows of them, maybe 3, along the center kind of area of the topper. I did get the idea for using these little cork panels from a subscriber who left a comment on one of my videos. So I have no idea, do not recall who that was, but if you happen to be watching, thanks a lot. It may have even been more than one person that suggested these. So I'm going to give it a try. See how close this is up here? So when I'm wearing a hat during the cold times of the year, this hat, any of my hats, they'll pull on this, because this is, it's not smooth. It's fiberglass, right? So that's one of the reasons I want to put that cork up. Also, I do think it might help a little bit with insulation and condensation, so who knows? We're going to give it a try. Oh, I've got 4 panels up there. I do not have a whole lot of hope that they're going to stay on this first go, but we'll see. I'm not going to put any more up. We'll see how those 4 do. I actually put them up by laying on my back on the bed and throwing my feet up and pushing with my feet to get these stuck on as best as I could, because I could get much more leverage that way than I could just trying to push them with my hands. But yeah, there's no way I'm showing that on video because it was not pretty. And then finally, I have this. So this is my typical food storage area. This is nothing more than a fairly inexpensive backpack cooler, soft-sided, that I fill up with ice packs, put over on its side, and then I use that for my cold storage. It's not a big deal during the winter, but during the summer, obviously, kind of want to keep a few things cold. I usually don't need to keep too many things cold, but it's nice to have a little area. I've not really shown this ever in any of my videos because I just don't like it. It's difficult to get into. It just doesn't. It seems like it takes up too much room. It just doesn't seem like a very good solution. It's been on my mind to try to work on something. So this is my center storage area. Okay, so I have my lid flipped up, and this is the area I have. Of course, I don't know if it shows up too much, but the wheel well is right here, kind of dipping down on each side. So that's the area I have available to me that I use for my clothing and my cold storage. Clothing over here, cold storage here. So my idea is I'm going to try to build some kind of custom unit. Custom kind of, that probably won't even go halfway. Maybe, what is that? A little more than a third of the way of this space. And I'm going to try to see if I can't build something myself, kind of rig something together. I've got some kind of leftover materials that I've accumulated. And I'm going to try to build my own little cold storage unit over on this side. So I got the idea for this project when some guys in our office were working on our HVAC stuff, and they had some trash pieces of this insulation laying around. Well, like one piece, one small kind of piece that looked like it was in a trash pile. I asked if I could have it. They said, yeah, no problem. So I've held on to it for a while, and now I have built, can't see it too well, my own custom icebox. So I have no idea if this is actually gonna insulate very well or not. I'm trying to shine a light down in there. It's not really working too well, but it's insulated on the bottom, all 4 sides. I've got to figure out the top. I've got a little bit of a void over here that I've got some scrap pieces, so like I may just kind of do something like that, or I may leave that because that would be like a nice area for like a little cutting board or something if I ever decide I need a cutting board. Or maybe I'll put this in here now and move it later if I decide I want a cutting board. So now I'm kind of happy. I didn't know if that one piece was going to do it, but it did, you know, all the sides and the bottom. I'm out of it now. I just have little scraps left, but figure out something for the top. I mean, I don't usually, well, I've never had, like meat products or anything like that when I'm traveling, that I, like raw meat or anything like that needs to, you're gonna get sick if it doesn't stay refrigerated. But I think this may work. If it keeps some beer cold, maybe keep some cheese cold, maybe even some eggs, it'll work. Well, it's not pretty, and this may be the weak link in my plan, but I've got this, I don't know, some kind of packing foam that I saved from something, and cut it to fit in here as a lid. I mean, the nice thing is that if I didn't have this very full, I could, you know, push this down, put some frozen water bottles or something on top of here to add to the cold factor. But I don't know. I kind of like it because I built it all by myself. So another thing I put in the truck recently, and I have to admit, this was originally going to be a giveaway on my channel, but then I realized I wanted to keep it. It's just an inverter, so that of course goes into the cigarette lighter, and when my truck is running, it gives me access to 2 power outlets and 2 USB outlets. So I have been enjoying that quite a bit and using it a lot. So I'm pretty happy with that, and I just mounted that right on the side of the console there. Surprise, surprise, surprise! None of them stayed in place. Glad I didn't put any more than the 4 that I tried first, and now I've got all these little crappy things all over the stuck onto the ceiling of my cap, and they don't want to come off very well. Nah. Why did I even bother? I knew that was not going to work. Just guess had to prove it to myself. So I've got my next round of options. This, which has lost its little descriptor piece, but this is Gorilla Glue, or Gorilla mounting tape, sorry. This is good stuff. This has been the most reliable stuff that I found for affixing stuff to the fiberglass. This is alien tape, nano tape. They have different names for it. It's like sticky on both sides. It's not really tape. It's almost like a hard gel. But it comes off like tape. It's kind of weird stuff, but it's supposed to stick anything anywhere. And I've had a little bit of success with it. And then the only other thing that I have is what I collect little different methods of trying to make things stick. This is like putty, a sheet, and I guess it reminds me of the stuff you would put stickers, or you would stick posters up with. That's what it reminds me of. It's supposed to be reusable. I don't know. I think I might just go with the Gorilla tape. And if that doesn't work, then probably nothing's gonna work. Well, I've just put 2 of them up there with the Gorilla mounting tape. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. See if they stay. Another quick little thing tiny little thing I've been thinking about doing, but went ahead and used that nano tape stuff, that super sticky stuff, to put a washer up there. And now my light will stick right up there. I'm thinking about getting another one of these little things, little USB lanterns. They're real small but powerful, and they last forever. So anyway, that'll make that super handy. A lot of times I'm propping it up there, but I think it kind of gives a nicer light mounted right there. And then finally, I just want to show you guys, these are I don't know, I think this is my second time of trying to do the curtains that ended up like this. I think these are the ones that I put on the video about how to make curtains, or how I made my curtains. Really nice, they slide really well, but there's this gap across the top. So I wanted to work on some kind of solution to that. So on the other side, my friend Sunny sewed for me, actually sewed nicely, these curtains that actually fit around the tomato stake that I use as a curtain rod. This is much heavier material, and it's actually doubled up and sewn. Oh, actually the seam is sewn, but so this is doubled up. Huh, you could use that for storage Just figured that out. It's like a little pouch. Huh. Anyway, so these are super nice. They obviously hold they're much more efficient with keeping all the light inside, and probably a little more efficient with thermal, in terms of thermal, just because they're heavier and nicer material. The only downside of this is that they don't open as smoothly and nicely. So they open, but it's a little harder, and they don't go back as far. So, little downside. Look, there's a Bernard taking a nap. Little downside, but overall, I really like this quite a bit. I like not having the light leak that I have over here. Usually I pull this across so that it kind of covers over and covers the seam, but I think I'm probably going to end up doing something with this side more like what this looks like. Alright, let's say hello to a very, very good St. Bernard. Bailey! Come here, baby. This is our old girl, Bailey. Hey, sweetie. Hi, girl. Oh, what's up? Yeah. There's the girl. There's the boo-boo. Yes. Oh, it's a good girl, huh? What? Oh, his poor Ophi. Now go back in. There you go, babies. Oh, we want to switch? Want to switch? We have two old girls. Hey. And she is deaf. So I talk to her, but I always know there's no sense in talking to her, because she can't hear me. She's probably sniffing all the moles that are in the yard. I gotta get in front of her. She's got a big old thing on her back, bless her heart. Hey. Hi. Hi, baby. There's our Ophi. There's our good girl. And here's the big boy puppy being a good boy. This is Hamlet. Oh, hi, buddy. Who's a good boy? Yeah. Boys. Yeah, your sisters are all excited about something.